All right, so apparently there's a patch. We have a patch, and it looks like there is balance patch notes or something like that. Balance patch notes, chat, okay? All right, so the first patch we have here is Winston. So apparently there's only one tank nerf, and it's Winston. So Winston has Tesla cannon damage per second reduced from 75 to 70. So right away, Winston is nerfed on damage-wise. Now, people are going to go, hey, why not Diva? I've been talking about it for a while. While Diva is good, don't get me wrong. While Diva is really good, and I wouldn't doubt it if they focus a little bit more on Diva come mid-season patch, because this isn't a mid-season patch. This is just kind of like a, they've been doing this occasionally. The reason why this is happening is because Winston is very strong with ignoring armor. As armors become a focus on making tanks better. So basically, that's why. Just to summarize, Diva's really strong. Winston has, I've been talking about it from the beginning, where Winston is a little bit stronger, but you won't see it as much because Diva does a lot of that back line, go into like your team and kill you, so it's a lot more apparent of what Winston does. So yeah, goes to my next step. I actually think Winston will still be good here. Believe it or not, I actually think Winston will be good here. I think the only thing you'll really notice is if someone's getting pocketed as a Mercy, because I think that already changed on the breakpoint. And then number two is you'll get ult a little bit, like, you won't get ults quick. But that's why they did that. Now, as a Diva player, would I have been okay if they did a couple of nerfs? Yeah, they probably need to change, like, the rocket, like, spreader, like, the spread on the shot. That's about it. But yeah, I'm not surprised. Like I said, I haven't been, when I've been saying that Winston's been really strong, I haven't really been memeing that either, right? It hasn't been a situation where I'm like, oh, by the way, Winston's really strong, haha, I'm just memeing. Like, Winston's really good, so I'm not surprised by this, and this shouldn't make Winston a lot worse. Sorry, I know I went a little bit further on that with the patch notes, but... Okay, next we have Ashe. So Ashe is also getting nerfed, a hero we've started to see picked up a lot on recently. The reload per bullet increased from 0.2 to 0.25. Wait, you're gonna reload slower on Ashe now? I don't know the numbers there, but... And the primary fire damage reduced from 40 to 35. So by the way, not only are you gonna have a slower reload, if I'm understanding this correctly, right? Probably back to what it was. Now you're also doing less primary fire damage. So Ashe is nerfed. I think if I had done a tier list before this, I would have probably had Ashe in that S tier anyway, because of what we're seeing in like pro play, etc. But I will definitely say, without a doubt, looking at this, that Ashe I'm not surprised by the Ashe nerf. The only problem I have now is like as I've been leveling up my DPS, I just figured out that Ashe is really good. And now I'm back to, I don't have a hero to go. If Ashe is, like, worse right now, then I won't have a hero to go to now. All right, Sombra. Virus damage over time reduced from 90 to 75. That's fine, right? Just less damage on virus. Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, that was something that we kind of saw. Yeah, but the dot, exactly. So, like, the burst damage they added, they took away the damage over time part of it. So... this should allow for a little bit better reaction. I don't really know the breakpoint, so it's like 15 less damage per on the burst damage. So they're keeping the burst damage you get if you hit an accurate virus. I mean, obviously that's the impact damage. And then they're taking away a little bit of damage. So you should... I think you'll be in a spot where you'll probably survive a little bit longer now against Sombra. Like, you have that opportunity. But I think I think Sombra's still gonna be good. I think the impact damage... This is under the assumption that Sombra doesn't shoot at you. But, like, I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad they've at least addressed the nerf a little bit, or like addressed the hero that was becoming a problem for players. So I'm like okay with that one. All right, I'm like okay with that patch note. Next up we have Juno. So keep in mind, this isn't the mid-season patch, because I know people are gonna look at this and be like, that's it. Mid-season patch, they'll probably do even more on their patch notes. They probably have some early outlier heroes who have really high win rates, so they're going through and they're toning down the high win rate heroes. Now, is that good or bad? I don't know, but that's probably what's happening. Now on to Juno. Medi Blaster fire rate increased from 14.3 to 15.5, reverted to the 34 shots per second during the projectile volley. Does this mean it's going back to what it used to feel like with the fire rate? I don't know the exact numbers, but is that like maybe I can just look here, because right, the Juno, where's it at? Yes, to 28 shots per second. So yes, if you look here, they went back to kind of what they had before. Now, that was kind of something that people were talking about for a long time, is they felt like the fire rate felt better during the previous patch, right? Obviously, there was a previous patch. So I imagine Juno players will like that, is my guess. And then damage reduced from 8 to 7.5, and healing reduced from 7 to 6.5. My guess is this is just compensating for the buff here. Nerfing a little bit here. What was the previous buff on that? Damage was increased to 8, so they're meeting you halfway. So they went from 7 to 8 in the previous patch, now they're just taking it back to 7.5. So it was 7 like last week. They buffed it to 8, and now it's to 7.5. So they're trying to find the in between. And then the healing reduced from 7 to 6.5. I'm just going back to, I don't know how, that's just the damage, right? So I don't know how that would work specifically. But the healing got reduced a little bit. My guess is that Juno was just pretty strong. So now you have the old fire rate. We can take a look at it after, but yeah. And then they did some bug fixes. I actually want to read these ones because there have been some bugs I've seen. Fixed a bug that occasionally caused heroes to be pulled down during a ledge mantle. I haven't ran into that one. Badges and emblems are now correctly reflecting your player rank. That has been something that's been there for sure. We know that one. That's fixed. Fixed an issue that caused large FPS drops at the start of end of matches on PS5. So if you play PS5 and you had FPS drops, they're fixing that. And they fixed a bug where the avoid list might not be respected during backfills. So that's quick play. Okay, cool. So they just patch. I mean, for like a random Tuesday patch that isn't necessarily meant to drive like a bunch of different things, I'm okay with that. I think it's a good patch, right? They're addressing some of the issues. Now, once again, when it comes to the Diva stuff, I do hear you on the Diva stuff. I know that Diva's become a bit of an issue in that sense. I imagine mid-season patch, they'll address Diva. I think what they want to see right now is they want to see where Winston is after the Winston and Diva lay after that. Like be like, okay, if Winston is still far ahead of Diva and Diva is far behind Winston, or Diva shoots up above Winston, then they can nerf Diva down and then makes it plays off that. Does that make sense? So I think that they want to give like another week or two of Diva. They also want to give you a viable tank in the meantime. But I think Winston's still going to be good. If I'm going to be honest with you, I think Winston will still be good. Like that's like, it's just reducing some of the damage that is happening. I think Winston will still be good though. So they're not like like I said, not the worst patch notes in my opinion. You said the damage wasn't that bad / good in your opinion? Okay, so let me explain one thing on this and why. To give you an idea, the thing is it's not about the damage of Winston specifically, even though they nerfed that. It's that you ignore armor. The Ashe changes were completely unnecessary. I think they nerfed Ashe because Ashe was performing really well. I think they saw that. Now, once again, was it extremely necessary? I don't know. It's hard to say. Right? It's definitely one of those things where the Ashe is probably performing really well, and that's what they're going based off of. I see both sides of it. As an Ashe player, it's going to feel a little bit worse. As anybody going up against the Ashe, it's going to feel better. But there's definitely some things that can be looked at with that one. So